pretty good replacement. I enjoyed visiting with
Yeah,
her.
Mariah's an outstanding educator, really smart, passionate. Uh, I hate to say that we think a lot alike in many instances, but we do, and I appreciate that. So, yeah, she's great.
That's what, she brought up that fact that you guys kind of really have connected. What do you see for her in her future?
Oh, it's the ceiling is limitless for her. She's got a very bright future.
Well, that is good to hear. How are things going for you?
I'm doing great.
Putting out fires, are you?
Yeah, no, every day it's something. I learn something new every day, and it helps me grow as a person. And but I love the ability to support our community and the teachers and our students. So it's great.
Do you hear much from the principals, the teachers? How's that back and forth communication?
Yeah, I feel like they might tell you something else. I have a great relationship with the principals. As a superintendent who has probably one of the longer tenures as a teacher, I taught for 22 years before I became an administrator. I feel like I have a good pulse and understanding of what teachers do and go through each day. I feel like I have a great relationship with our teachers too. So I try to communicate as much as I can. Even sometimes, like yesterday, I went over to the middle school before school started just to walk around and say good morning to folks and say hello to kids. And I just have to remind myself sometimes you just got to get out of the house and go hang out with the people. So that's what I did yesterday.
How big of an advantage for you? I mean, you are a Clinton native. You graduated from Clinton High School. You pointed out 22 years in the classroom. So you know the community, and you probably know a lot of the teachers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In some capacity, we've worked together as teachers, as colleagues. For 7 years, I was the curriculum director and got to know a lot of teachers that way as well. I taught at Clinton High, so most of the folks at Clinton High I either taught with or I hired. So I do know a lot of those folks. But what's been fun for me is to get to know the elementary teachers. My sister's an elementary teacher, so I know many of them through her. But also being able to get in the buildings and just check in with folks. It's been and doing curriculum with them has been a great opportunity.
You, of course, taught at Clinton High School. The construction continues.
Yeah.
What was it like when you were teaching? Did you see that the building actually did need an update?
Well, I guess I grew up here, so this is Clinton High, right? It's the mecca for me. It was I never thought of it that way. Towards the end of my teaching career, before I became an administrator, you kind of notice where this tile's not been replaced for 25 years, or some of the things are clearly getting a little more in need of help. So it was definitely time.
I graduated in 72,
Yeah.
So our class was the last class that had to commute back and forth from Washington Junior High to the Clinton High School. So I walked into that brand new building.
Yeah, so how does that feel?
Yeah, I was going to say, and, I've been out of school for 51, 52 years, so yeah, maybe there was some work to be done.
No, it's great, and when I speak to our architect and our general contractor, I ask them all the time, I just want to reconfirm that this is a challenging build, and they absolutely, this is the most challenging build they've ever done, simply because you're tearing down and then replacing. And so you're always kind of shuffling things around, trying to make sure that you don't, block things or truncate opportunities for kids because of this or that. So it would have been way easier if we would have just found some land somewhere and just built. We'd have been done by now. But truly, as kind of full circle, conversation here, but Clinton High School it's a mecca. I mean, truly, and I mean that in a way that is so people revere your gymnasium. People revere Coan Field. And keeping that as part of the tradition, that's one of our, trident ideals is tradition, is keeping that was really important. So the challenges will be overcome. It's just going to take a little longer.
Yeah. So where are we at right now?
Yeah. So right now, actually starting on Monday, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Students will move into and be able to take classes in the new CTE rooms, meaning welding, autos, and woods. Also, the performing arts classes, band, orchestra, and choir, they're going to be able to go into those new rooms next week and start classes there. So we still have work to be done in the theater. They tell me it'll be done in January. I'm going to say February. I'd rather, keep it real. Just this stuff takes time. So once the theater's done, then phase 2 will be completed. If anybody's been by Clinton High School, yesterday they started tearing down the old S wing, so that's coming down now. I went over and took some pictures and some video. It's just amazing what some of the operators can do with those pieces of equipment to stay safe, but do it in a quick fashion is pretty impressive. So yeah, the S wing's coming down now.
Amazing. I had the opportunity to go to the first open house after the phase 1 was completed. Didn't really recognize too much, but somewhat. What's it going to be like? Are you going to plan to have an open house once everything is completed?
Oh, absolutely. So probably in February, once the theater is complete, we'll do a soft opening for the phase 2. That way people can go in and see what the shops, the new CTE classrooms look like, what the new performing arts classrooms. The performing arts classrooms are amazing. Those of us, I was in marching band and jazz band and symphonic band in high school, and being in the old S wing where it was a million degrees, and having that space, this will be such an upgrade. They've got such an amazing space to work and perform in. But we'll do a soft opening once the theater's open. Our intent is to have the spring musical or a spring play in the new theater this spring, so that will be fun. People will still be able to get in there from the south side of the building, but once the weather is correct, then we'll start bringing the old 1969 building down, right? That will come down, and then we'll build a new front of the school. So just next to where Vernon Cook Theater is right now, that will become an administrative / school counselor wing. And then there'll just be this really gorgeous commons area that kids will be able to, they'll have kind of open classroom space there, but it'll lead you to the theater. It'll be pretty cool.
Before we take a break for the weather, I just thought of this while listening to you talk about, that first open house, and I was led around by one of the students, and I thought that was great. And the students that were doing that did a tremendous job.
Yeah, well, that would be our intent too, because this is for them, right? And they're going to know better than anyone else how it's going and what it's like to learn in spaces like this.
Okay, more to talk with Wes Golden on FYI, our weather break brought to you by Awesome Car Wash.
We are going to start our warming trend as we head through the next couple of days. Highs today get to the upper 60s. Still expecting plenty of sunshine and dry skies. Winds are going to be a bit breezy with gusts as high as 25 to 30 miles per hour, so outdoor burning not advised for today. I'm Storm Track 8 meteorologist Morgan Strackbein with your weather impact forecast.
Sunshine, 45 degrees. Our winds light out of the south right now. The update brought to you by Awesome Car Wash.
At Awesome Car Wash, they have everything to meet your car wash needs. Awesome Car Wash has 6 self-serve wash bays to minimize wait times, a touchless automatic 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The tunnel wash open daily, not just on sunny days, from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Awesome Car Wash is located across the street from Purina on Manufacturing Drive, so stop in and check them out.
It's awesome, baby!
Well, Wes and I both ran cross country, and this time of year is just amazing.
I love it. It's just the crisp mornings, decent afternoons. It's perfect running weather. You get the leaves changing. There's no better time.
When you were practicing, was it at the Erickson Center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to jog over from Clinton High to Chansey Park. Oh. And that's where we did our workout, was at Chansey Park.
Yeah, no, I remember talking to, Coach Holsclaw and Coach Dennis about those things. And like, yeah, you think you have it bad? You should have run over at Chansey Park. I'm like, well, you have the beautiful view of, ADM and so on.
And the smell sometimes.
Yeah.
And Coach Holsclaw had a great loop at Chansey Park. It really was pretty amazing what he did.
I think on a rare occasion, they would just take us over there just to say, well, this is what it used to be like. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Well, let's go back to the Erickson Center.
Yeah, no kidding. This is with Wes Golden. Let's talk about the Education Advancement Center now.
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions about the new building. It's the old Technology Center for CCC. It's been great. The students have really taken ownership and pride of that. We're installing a new library in there. And this space is really for students who need a different space to learn. It's an alternative learning, but we're doing a lot. And really the genesis of probably what Mariah spoke to you about last month was about work-based learning. And really for folks and students, learners like that, work-based learning is critical for them, but it's also an opportunity for them to get the above and beyond supports that they might need from school counselors and so on and so forth. So many of our students come to us with challenges that they need help in overcoming. So it's really a great space for that. There's a lot of passionate teachers over there who care about kids. Not that they're not everywhere, but these kids need that special treatment, special love.
I would think it would take a special individual to teach that kind of a group. Now, how is it decided upon who is going to be at the Advancement Center as a student?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our goal is always to have kids, our learners, at Clinton High School or Clinton Middle School. But sometimes they just need a little bit of time and space with a little bit different support structures, a little bit different learning environment for them. Our goal is always to have them go back, but if they're at Clinton High or they're at the middle school, and it's just identified that, through opportunity after opportunity, that a learning environment that's different to them is needed, we try that and see how it goes. Our goal is to always bring them back to Clinton High School, but our ultimate goal is always to get them to graduate. And if this is the opportunity that they need with those extra supports so that they can learn, grow, and actually graduate, that's really our ultimate goal. The research is clear. Students who graduate from high school will be far more successful than those who don't. So it's really an opportunity to give us another layer of supports to get those students with the needs and supports that they need.
How long has the Clinton school system done this kind of a program, Wes? And I mean, are there other communities like a Muscatine, a Davenport, a Burlington do pretty much the same thing?
Most do. And I don't know about when you were in high school. I remember when I was at Clinton High in the 80s, it would have been a program called Focus, and it was really a school within the school, and it originated kind of in that format. And we had Lincoln Alternative High School for a while, and we've really kind of changed it always based on the needs of the students. Today students learn probably different than you did or I did. And so their needs are different today than they were back then. So this is just the new version of it.
Yeah.
So it's at least been around since I was in school, which would have been in the 80s, late 80s. So
Well, I can't recall anything like that in the early 70s, and we certainly didn't have computers. What a difference that
Yes,
is.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It's a great tool to have, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps a tremendous amount, whether we're talking about work-based learning or just even online opportunities to learn. So having that technology has been critical to the success of our kids.
Maybe getting off subject just a little bit, but artificial intelligence, what kind of a role is that starting to play in the schools?
It's huge. And the thing is my philosophy on that is we have to embrace it because it's part of the world. It's just kind of like anything else, a computer. Oh, we can't use computers. Kids need to be able to do their math on a piece of paper. But the reality is when they leave our institutions, they graduate, they're going to go into a workforce that uses these things. AI is used in the workforce. I had a friend who works out in one of the companies in Cedar Rapids. You can probably, a pretty famous company that does electronics. We'll just leave it at that. But he was working on a computer program and he couldn't figure out what code he was missing one line of code. He couldn't figure it out. So he dumped his program into AI and asked him what was missing. It came up with it and he fixed his own program using AI. So if we're using these things in the real world, we better embrace it. The challenge is how do we educate students and teachers on how to use it appropriately? Because AI can still make mistakes. It's a learning thing. This is a computer that's learning things. So you have to be able to validate and verify that what it's providing you is accurate and real. We do this, we talk about it, and it's emerging very quickly.
Again, visiting with Wes Golden on today's FYI. Got an intruder drill coming up today.
Yeah, We're sending out messages so that people don't get freaked out. We do these types of drills, run, hide, fight. Our students practice those strategies. And in addition to that, we also as a staff have to practice how to reunify students when something like this happens. So we're doing one today at Clinton Middle School, just so everybody knows it's a drill. That, as we always say, drill, drill, drill. Make sure that everybody, and I think they're putting some signs up here on 13th. But these types of drills are really important. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, we did different drills.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how do you
fire drill.
Yeah, it's a fire drill, right? And really schools, we still do fire drills and tornado drills, but the odds of a fire or a tornado hitting a school are less likely than something else. So we're doing drills like this because unfortunately we have to it's a muscle memory thing in giving our students and our faculty and staffs opportunities to practice this thing so they don't have to stop and think, they just do. And we just want to make sure that our community knows we're doing these things to help our students be prepared and our staff and faculty be prepared, but I also want them to understand that today it's just a drill. So
if you could, walk us through what takes place in this drill.
Yeah, so in any situation, if there happens to be an intruder in school, long ago we did things differently, but I really appreciate the new strategy where it's run, hide, fight. The idea is to run first. The best strategy you can do is get out of there. And we tell students, get out. And at middle school and high school, that's probably, most kids are just going to take off. And what I did as a teacher is I always told students, in a situation, here's what I'm going to do, and you are welcome to come with me. I felt pretty prepared, as my other parallel career kind of trained me to do. And a lot of kids would follow me. But the whole goal is just to get them out of the school because that's where they're going to be safest. But then in our program, we then go to a rally point. We ask the students, hey, either get out, and if you need to, get to a rally point. And then once we get accountability there, then we reunify them. We get them back to their parents. At elementary, obviously, the students are 99.99999%. They're going to go with their teacher, and that's what we want. They need to be shepherded and cared for in that regard. So
how often do you do these?
We try to do one drill in each building a year. We try to do one major drill where we go through the whole rally point reunification process because the reunification process is incumbent upon the district to take care of. And this is something, it's a perishable skill. If you don't do this a lot, which I hope we never have to do, you tend to lose those lessons learned and how to do this more effectively, more efficiently.
Who kind of serves as like maybe the commander of these things? I mean, is it the resource officer? Is it the principal?
Well, everybody has their role. Obviously, our law enforcement partners are going to go in and neutralize or take care of anything that's happening inside the school. But usually the principal will or that administrative team of the school, they kind of manage the rally site. And then the school district administrative team, the central administrative team, they manage the reunification process. So we each have our role and responsibility. Now, for example, Mariah Reeves she is kind of the overseer of the reunification site. Rhea Wright, who's our director of student services, she's our central administrator, kind of coordinates things at the rally site. And I, as the superintendent, kind of work with law enforcement and our first responders to coordinate everything else, like transportation. How do we get buses here, right? And how do we coordinate those kinds of things? So it's quite a drill. It's really important, and I'm so thankful that we have partners in our local law enforcement and fire department and county emergency management that support us in all this, and they do a fantastic job.
Appreciate you coming in. We got about another 4 or 5 minutes left in the program. I see an increase in enrollment. Talk about that.
No, it's great. So our certified enrollment, we're up about 27.8 students. Yeah, how do you get a 0.8 student? It's based on weightings of certain needs of students, but we're up there. But when you take our open enrolled students out and so on, we're actually up 10 still of students served. So it's been quite a while since we've been up in population. I was talking with Teresa Schultz yesterday. She's our high school principal. Clinton High is near 1,000 students again, and we haven't been around 1,000 students in a handful of years. So we're seeing an increase in enrollment. We're seeing an increase in student population. So that's great.
And what does that mean for as far as money is concerned?
Yeah, well, each student has the state provides us funding based on the number of students we have. So the more students we have, the more funding we get, which then in turn allows us to provide services and teachers and paras and bus drivers and so on. So when you have a constantly declining enrollment, it can be challenging. You know, probably when you graduated high school, there was probably, over 400, 450?
We had about 550.
Oh, 550. Holy cow. So when I graduated in 90, we had 362. When my oldest daughter graduated in 2020, there was 205-ish. So, and that's just, I mean, our community has, Clinton County has really kind of seen a decline in just population. But for once, hey, we're seeing an increase, and it's great.
You mentioned Teresa Schultz. I was talking to her at the homecoming breakfast. It's her third year.
Yeah.
So next year, that incoming freshman class is going to be her senior
All hers,
class.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's now you've had at least one full cycle of students go through that you've had the ability to lead and mentor, guide. And it's probably pretty fun for her to see that group of kids get through.
You know, it's amazing just watching her, and I get the opportunity to speak at the homecoming coordination. She's in control.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And I thought the kids were so well behaved at the homecoming coordination.
You know, when it comes down to it, kids are kids, and they were probably goofy when you grew up. When I grew up, they are. But when it really comes down to the important things, they know when it's time to stop being goofy and be serious and respectful in those situations. So it's pretty cool.
And a final thing to talk about, was it Hall of Honor? What's it called?
So always a call for Hall of Honor nominations. There's so many amazing Clinton High School graduates that have gone on and had an impact in the world. This is a call to anybody. If you know of a Clinton High School graduate who has done something significant, which all of our graduates do, but something that can truly be raised as a role model-esque kind of life, we would love to know, because every year we get a handful of people like, wow, we have probably about 15 nominations sitting there that we'll consider, but we would love to have more because we keep them in the queue for the next year. There's so many deserving folks to be held up as role models for our kids, and that's really what it's about, is showing our students that you could go on in the world and do amazing things and make a difference.
I've actually had a couple of classmates, class of 72, that are in the Hall of Honor, both girls that are in there. And the last one's Diane Randall. Who was in last time.
No, that's awesome.
I've known Diane since grade school.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. So when do you actually induct the Hall of Honor?
Yeah, so nominations will be, we'll collect those by November 1st. Usually that first week in November, we will select, we will notify those folks, and then we actually do the induction ceremony in the spring. Okay. So this year it'll be on April 25th.
Okay, very good. Any closing comments before we let you go? Thanks so much again.
No, thanks for having me. I always appreciate having a conversation with you.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
You do have the Vikings. I don't know if everybody's in on the Vikings. It's like, yeah, nice story, but they're playing pretty well, and that defense is awesome. And got a great head coach, young coach. And you're in a tough division because everybody has a winning record here. The Lions. The Lions, to me, are probably the best team still in the NFC. I mean, I have them winning the Super Bowl. They are a great offensive team, and the defense has been a little suspect this year. But you start to